Welcome back here, boys and girls. Time for that nightly newsletter. Tuesday evening, October 7th, 2014, the 7th day of the 10th month of the year, 2014. My name is Joseph James from SchoolOfTrade.com, SidewaysMarkets.com, and oh boy, do we have a jam-packed newsletter in store for you this evening. Now, markets collapsed I shouldn't say all of them, right? Gold was very stingy today. We'll talk about that in a moment. But it appeared that the markets were listening to my newsletter last night. Crude drops, Russell drops. Gold is still there, but we got a couple new reasons why gold is having some trouble collapsing off that high right now. I could go on and on and on about this, but I want to make sure that we kickstart this newsletter here on the right foot. Let's make sure we're watching this video right now over on our blog. Make sure you guys go over here to SidewaysMarkets.com. Make sure you're watching the video tonight on the blog here at Sideways Markets. If you're not watching it on the blog, there's a link below the YouTube video. That'll take you right over here to SidewaysMarkets.com for 3 specific reasons. Reason number 1, you can download all of my charts this evening and have those ready for action tomorrow morning. Click that link right below the video, and you can have those charts ready for you right now and be ready to join me tomorrow in my live trade room. Second thing here, upper left-hand corner, I got a special free pass for you guys. Come out and join my trade room any day this week. I would love to give you guys that free pass, upper left-hand corner. Come out and join me in the trade room, and you can see exactly how we use these levels every day. Third thing here today over on the blog, I've got a nightly newsletter mailing list. I would love to send you an email every evening just before 8 p.m. Eastern Time as I publish my nightly newsletter. You'll never have to miss another newsletter ever again. Give me your name and your email address, lower left-hand corner. Just find my ugly mug and look right above that, and you'll see the name and the email address. Now, if you register for the newsletter, if you take the free pass, just make sure you check your email. I'm going to send you a verification email to make sure that you're not a robot. Alrighty? I think we have everything ready to rock and roll here, guys. Make sure you download the charts for tonight. Grab your free pass. Join the nightly newsletter mailing list. And don't forget to check your email once you do so. That way I can send you some goodies. Alrighty? Helmets on. Seatbelts fastened. A Tuesday evening. What the heck happened today? Well, again, most of the markets collapsed today, almost as if they were listening to our newsletter last night. Now, let's talk about the news today. U.S. news was mostly good, and boy, it's incredible. The U.S. right now is really the only economy that's showing any pulse. And today we heard from the JOLTS report, right? The job openings and layoffs and transfers survey. It showed improvement. There's still work to be done, but still better jobs, right? Not more jobs, better jobs are still missing here in the U.S. So JOLTS report kind of repeated what we heard last week from non-farm payrolls. Let's get on to the important stuff. Today, we saw 2 days in a row, back-to-back, disappointing news out of Europe. Today, it came from Germany, right? One of the largest economies in Europe. The German industrial production. Yesterday, it was the factory orders. Today, it was industrial production. If you've listened to me on this newsletter, or if you're in my trade room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Factory orders, industrial production. These are huge manufacturing reports, and they are taking a nosedive in Germany, and that, of course, is going to drag down this European economy. A lot of very smart people around the world are starting to buy into the idea that this European economy may be tagged for a recession by the end of the year. You want to get worse? Okay, let's throw some salt in the wound. Today's IMF survey, right? The International Monetary Fund. They monitor economies around the world. Today, the IMF survey, you can get a link below tonight's video. The IMF survey painted a very dismal picture, basically calling it an uneven recovery and lowering their overall growth projections going to the end of the year and into 2015. And again, we keep hearing this return of the U.S. seems to be doing fine, but we got some big concerns in some spots around the world right now. They're calling it a very uneven recovery, and that, of course, can be to blame, or that can be responsible for why crude would be one of them, why crude pushes lower and why gold is stingily staying above that 1200 right now. Crude declined $2 today. Gold did actually move higher today, right? Gold actually did move incrementally higher, not by much. We had the first 2-day, that's back-to-back days, of rising prices on gold since middle of June. Yesterday, we had the biggest single-day rise on gold in over 6 months, and now 2 days in a row, back-to-back. I wouldn't go buying into that too much right now. I'm going to show you guys a chart on that gold in just a few moments. Russell tumbled off the highs today. And then tomorrow, we've got some really big news. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from what? Crude oil inventories on a Wednesday. And then we've got the FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow afternoon. We got a ton of important news, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So really some good news in the U.S., bad news out of Europe. The IMF survey painting things a little bit of a dismal picture right now. And again, with the exception of gold, everything following exactly what we had talked about last night, which was we're expecting both fundamentally and technically to get downward pressure on these markets. All right, let's jump in. Here's my mini Russell, as you can see here, and we'll take a look. Russell, obviously, finally, we've been talking about this for weeks now, finally gets digging into that May 15th, 2014, that low, and you can see here, we are grinding our way lower here right now. What's my trend? My trend is bearish. Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, easy. Where would the next sell setup be, right? Well, right now, as we go higher here, I'm going to have a sell setup at the top of that trend line, and I've got a sell setup here at 26.4. So we are definitely oversold here right now on the Russell. There's no doubt about that. I've got one more target hanging out here at 1045.6. And if we're looking for a long-term sell right now on the Russell, you want to definitely wait for that trend line, wait for that trigger zone, and those are going to be your best long-term selling opportunities on the mighty mini Russell. Moving forward, if we don't want to wait that long to get short here on the Rusty, well, and of course, like I said last night, we were up near these highs, of course, in last night's newsletter, and my exact words were, you better be looking for that short off these highs, and that's exactly what we got today. A little bit sloppy at the beginning of the day, definitely got into its rhythm as we went into the afternoon session. If you're a member of mine, we talked about the fact that this afternoon was probably going to be a pretty darn important part of the day, and that's exactly what we got. If you didn't get in on the move going lower, unfortunately, you missed it. And this is why you got to be careful here. You do not want to sell these lows right now. There's that May 15th low. So we know we're going to have some speculative buying, right? We're going to have some bargain hunters trying to snatch up some buys here right now. We may not. We may keep on tumbling here all the way down to targets at 61.4 and 53.7. So we may continue just to collapse here right now. We had a beautiful selling opportunity coming off these highs. And again, last Friday's non-farm payroll literally gave us just a nice little lob right up there and right on down. That's exactly what we were expecting. And you can go back and listen to last Thursday night's newsletter talking about that bullish but misleadingly bullish non-farm payroll report. Now the honeymoon's over and we're back to reality here as business as usual. So lower low in price. I've got my lower low. That's all I need here, boys and girls. Once I get that lower low in price, that now tells me be patient, but get ready here for the next big selling opportunity if you miss the one I gave to you on a platter, right, yesterday evening. So what's my trend? Trend is down. Where's my setup right now? I've got a reversal line set up at 78.2. I have a channel high set up. Right? We'll call it 84, right? We'll call it 84. for that channel high setup. I have another reversal line. So we're talking reversal line 78.2. We're talking channel high, we'll say 84. We're talking reversal line at 88 even. I've got trigger zone at 88.1, 92.4. I've got trigger line at 94.8. And I got trigger zone at 98.6. As you can see, ain't no shortage of areas to look for a sell. The only problem you've got right now is patience, grasshopper, patience. Wait for that price to get off these lows. Unless, of course, you like selling things at a discount. But last time I checked, I'm no economist, but I know that selling at a discount never going to make me a lot of money. We're going to look to sell at a premium. So how do I sell at a premium? I'm going to make sure that I get the heck off of this low. Here's my 16 anchor right now, and you can see exactly why I said we're oversold. Beautiful move right down to our target there at 68.5. It's getting hung up here at the low of that channel. That is close enough, right? Take that money at the low of the channel. Now, if you're a member of mine, what do we know about trading at the lows of a channel? What do we know about trading at the lows of a bear channel? How about trading at the highs of a bull channel? What do we know about this area? That's right. Mama said stay the heck away, right? Stay away from trying to fool with the highs of a bull channel or the lows of a bear channel. So what my plan is going to be for tomorrow is to stay patient. I've got my trend. What's my trend, by the way? Down. How do I know? Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, below the key moving averages. Easy peasy. Where's my next sell setup? And by the way, this is the hardest part. My next sell setup, I got 78.3, 78.9, 84.2. And guys, don't forget about that potential double top up there at 1088.2. Got plenty of areas to look for a short. I doubt we need to go all the way to 88.2 tomorrow. The way it looks right now, right? We might be going submarine style here like a rock the rest of this week here. Who knows? One thing I do know, though, is I'm not going to sell these lows, and I'm going to stay patient, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning in the trade room, and we'll look at those trades here after we get off these lows, right? So get off these lows tomorrow morning, get up into that 78.3 area, 78.9 area, and then don't forget, as we go lower here, use that channel low as your guide, and then keep an eye on that 1063.1. If we collapse, that will probably be where we finish the job off. Russell, great job today, Rusty. Great job today. You had a little bit of slippery price action early, but boy, he got his act together towards the end of the morning, into the afternoon. How about that gold? Gold, you stingy market right now. I knew it was too easy getting you below 1,200 last week. I knew that was too easy. I'm going, there's no way this market stays below 1,200 that long. Remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago. 1,200 is the break-even point for the mining industry. It's just like $75 a barrel for OPEC, right? All the OPEC governors, right, they get to turn in their Rolls Royces when we go below 75. Well, of course, tons of mining companies are going to shut their door if that gold stays below 1,200. Now, gold is holding firmly right now above 1,200 because we just heard a whole slew of bad news right now, right? We're talking Ebola. We're talking bad news in Europe. IMF survey comes in. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on and on. And then, of course, we get the dollar that's pulled back a little bit. And so that dollar-denominated gold, remember, all of these commodities are denominated in U.S. dollars. Right? I don't care where you are around the world, right? When you cash out of gold, you're going to get paid in dollars. You're going to get paid in dollars on crude oil, right? So it's denominated, which means it's a natural, right? Basically, there's no way around it. There's a negative correlation to it, right? I'm either long the US dollar, short the gold, or vice versa, one or the other. So right now, traders getting out of cash, getting into gold, getting out of equities, getting into gold, or getting into bonds, right? And we know that is a flight to safety because of all the fear going on right now. All right, gold. So we're propped up above this 1,200. It's very easy to see. We're right back where we came from, first of the year. It's just incredible to see how this symphony orchestra, without a conductor, all working in different areas, all with the wisdom of crowds, the chaos. Oh, it's a beautiful thing when you think about it. How on earth do we return all the way back to where we started this whole year off, and right when we get to the end of the year? Isn't it incredible? Kind of gives you the goosebumps, doesn't it? Anyways, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. That's why I love this job, right? These markets are pretty incredible things when you understand it. And we have a great section in our beginner's course that talks all about the fundamentals you need to know about why price moves the way it does. I think our beginner's course here at School of Trade is absolutely my best work and the cat's pajamas. All right, let's keep going. On the gold here, we know we got the big long-term move down. But this is what I'm talking about here, folks. This is the chart that tells me, come on, can someone just walk over and give a little whoops-a-daisy, right? A little how you doing there, a little nudge to the downside. Can we get a little bit of help coming down off these highs, please? We know why it won't drop off the highs, right? Right? Do we know why? Again, people are dropping equities, buying gold, and buying bonds. Right? Didn't help. We heard from the IMF today. Doesn't help. We keep seeing bad news out of Europe. Right? And again, that U.S. dollar is going to pull back going on right now. So that, of course, is going to result in higher prices on gold. This is going to be an interesting situation here this week. This is going to be really interesting. Tomorrow we got meeting minutes. Right? We got FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow. We got inventories and meeting minutes. So tomorrow afternoon, we got meeting minutes. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from Mario Draghi at 11 a.m., from what I'm told. And so all of this stuff might be what's lingering here right now on gold. Bottom line is, I am nowhere near ready to start buying just yet, right? I'm not sipping on that Kool-Aid yet, but I'm definitely patiently waiting here for this drop on gold. As you can see, what's my trend? Clearly down, right? Lower lows, lower highs, red. See, for the most part, red clouds. But now we got one green and one red. I'm still going to err on the side of caution to the downside. I'm still going to give, right, what our good friends, the grandfathers of technical analysis, right, Gann, Wyckoff, Dow. I'm still going to give the benefit of the doubt, right, to the long-term trend. So I'm still looking short, but I'll tell you, it was not fun this week. Sitting here, it's like being a kid locked out of the candy store, and all I can do is look in. I can't taste anything, right? We're watching it going, oh, come on, baby. Come on. Just drop. Just drop. Because we got all this stuff waiting for us down there. We got that big round number, just tasty target at 1,200, 98.7, 89.9, 83.3, 73.1, 61.9. I can keep going on and on and on, but I got to get this thing off these highs first. Stingy gold. Stingy. Here in the 16, the last chart here for gold, you can see there's not a lot of difference here, right? There's not a lot of difference here. The only real thing that we can see is that head and shoulders that we saw yesterday and going into this morning, we were looking at this today going, oh, baby, just give me the money now. Just give me the money now. Make it easier on everybody. Just give me the money now, right? We thought this head and shoulders was going to be our ticket, right, to printing gold, right, on our accounts, but that was not the case today. So unfortunately, it didn't drop off the highs today, but as you can see, though, we are locked and loaded, and all we need here right now is to get that little bit of bullish news, and I think this may have enough steam here, enough chutzpah, right, to come off this high, right? So looking good on gold, but again, if anybody happens to be driving past the NYMEX exchange tomorrow morning, feel free to walk in there and drop some sells on those buyers, okay? Give us a little hand here. What's up next here? Last but not least, how could we forget my favorite of all of them? Good old crude oil futures, the black gold, the Texas tea. Now, we've been dealing with some consolidation on crude this week, and we saw that coming a mile away after last Friday's non-farm payroll. I talked about it in last night's newsletter. We had concerns about the consolidation today, and these concerns, well, we're almost out of the woods. We're almost out of the woods. We didn't quite get that sell off the high today, but we definitely got that, what felt like that just, all the buyers kind of gave up, right? Did you get to feel that today? At the end of the session today, it definitely felt like whatever buyers were flexing their bravado, right? It felt like those buyers had checked out as of the closing print this afternoon at 2:30 in the pit. It definitely felt, it didn't feel bullish, I'll tell you that much, Remember, the bulls got a little bit of a shot in the arm last week off that non-farm payroll report, right? Everybody was talking about, all right, we're going back to 100. No. Not until we see the chart tell us that, right? Rule number one, don't believe the crazy guy yelling and screaming on CNBC, okay? He gets paid to yell and scream. He has no recourse what he says. He doesn't have an open position. For all of us who have open positions and actually do this for a living, we know, trust the chart. Don't trust the talking heads, right? Trust the chart. So the chart tells us to keep selling short. We're continuing to go short here. Crude oil prices, though, I'll tell you, it's tough to find a bull right now. It's tough to find a bull on crude right now. Today's IMF survey really put that nail in the coffin. Or should I say, threw fuel on the fire. That was a bad joke about crude. Luckily, I have a better day job than being a joke teller. As you can see, we continue to go lower here. I've got a downward trending channel, but we have this short-term consolidation going on right now. There's a lot of analysis needed right now to make sure we're on the right side of this market. Let's jump in. Here are my 32 now on crude. Now remember, you go back in time, we had that narrow range, well, not too narrow, but we had that sideways range, right? Remember that big short that we had middle of last week? That awesome sell off that high that we talked about? Yeah, baby. That's exactly how we made our money the past few weeks. Waiting for price to consolidate. Okay, you want to consolidate? No problem. I'll play that game. And wait for price to jump up. We barely missed the jump up today. We only went about 90, 39, 90, 40. And if you recall, last night, I had a couple levels sitting up here around 91. So we were looking to get short at 91. We never quite got there, and that just goes to show you here, we're definitely more bearish than we were 24 hours ago. Now, I made a comment earlier, we're not out of the woods yet. And you can see exactly why. We have not made that lower low yet. 88.18, we haven't made that lower low. I can't make that statement that we are out of consolidation yet. But I'll tell you, I could easily see it happening in Asia. I could easily see it happening in the London session overnight. I could easily see us tomorrow morning at new lower lows. And that means if you're in my trade room, we'll be looking for sells at the top of this channel so we can continue it going right back down. As you can see here, we have a brand new projected channel that I've drawn in off these highs. If you look closely too, I tied it all together in a more short-term channel as well. What do we know about a channel? Sell the highs of a bear channel, buy the lows of a bull channel. Relatively easy stuff. But again, be careful right now though, because I don't think we're quite as bearish as we may feel right now. This may definitely end up rattling around inside of this tomorrow morning. What's my plan going to be? It'll be the same plan it always has. Sell at the highs. So I've given you guys plenty of targets here, right? So your best use for this chart is for those profit targets. The profit targets on this chart are going to give me 88.18, right? We got 18s, 87.73, 86.98, 85.87, and 85.07. Okay, those are our targets on the way down. If you're short, take a portion of your profit and hold the rest. What about opportunities to get into the sell, right? We didn't get that easy short off the highs this morning. What about for tomorrow? I'm glad you asked. Let's go down to our 16 and we'll wrap it up here on the 16. Now you can see there's a lot of analysis going on in this chart right now. Here's that price wedge that we had in last night's newsletter, right? This is the price wedge we had last night. And again, if you recall, I had a few sell zones hanging out here around that 91 area, and we just simply never got there, right? We just simply never got there. So what's a trader to do? Well, we got the lower low here, you can see, right? We're starting to get some lower lows here. We got one lower low. That's definitely not a bad sign, but we're definitely not out of the woods yet. We know that a price wedge is going to make you cry if you try trading those breakouts. So what's my trend? Long-term trend is still down. I'm still staying focused to the sell side. What's my plan with the downward sloping trend? Sell. Where should I sell? Should I sell at the lows? Should I sell at the highs? Should I sell at a discount? Should I sell at a premium? Well, if you had a brand new car and you wanted to sell that car, would you like to sell that car at a discounted price or a higher price? Think about it for a second. Give it a think, right? Consult with your calculator. Obviously, you're going to want to sell that car at a higher price, right? You make a better profit. If you bought a car and then turned around and sold it at a discount, you would lose money, wouldn't you? That's why you don't sell things at the lows, right? Yeah, I promise, even though it looks like this is a video game, the regular laws of supply and demand, they still work. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That guy in economics class back when you were in college, he wasn't joking, right? He wasn't joking. This stuff really works. So we buy at a discount, right? We sell at a premium. So I'm going to keep selling at a premium. We tried to get it up top here this morning. Didn't quite get the good short. Now what I'll look for is, well, I've got them right here. 90.23, that's my new level right now. If you're a member of mine, you know exactly what I'm looking for right there. I also have, so we got what I would call a wedge, right? A wedge setup. Members, hint, 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 a wedge setup. Then we have our, I would say, a double top, 90.74. A possible double top, 91.79. And then if we don't make lower lows, here's the key. If we don't make lower lows, we'll still have the sell at 91.54. All right. If we make new lower lows, though, folks, tomorrow morning we're going to have to redo these levels, right? So we get new lower lows, and that's what I'm hoping for tomorrow. I'm hoping by the time I wake up from my nap, right? It really is a nap these days. I work way too many long hours. But when I wake up from my cat nap tomorrow morning, bright and early here in Los Angeles, it's pretty much the night before. But I know I'm hoping we get that lower low. If I get that lower low, then tomorrow in the trade room, we're going to be waiting for that price to come back up. And then look, this could be a reversal line there. Members, right? Reversal line. I can use a trend line as a reversal line too. Don't forget. I'm not sure if I trust that most short-term reversal line, but I definitely will trust it though if we get a lower low. Get a lower low, I'll use that trend line as a reversal line setup as well. So we're going to be looking closely for new, fresh sell zones tomorrow if we get those lower lows. If we don't get lower lows, this becomes a difficult job again. Now we got to wait for price to get up so I can get short again. All right, same thing we saw on crude today. Today on crude, you really had to just sell it as it was dropping. You didn't get any good setups. And those setups are what put the odds significantly in our favor. Now, I want to remind you guys, come out and see me tomorrow morning in our live trade room, 8 a.m. Eastern time. We open things up, and I would love to give you my opinion in real time, right, so you guys have all the information. Speaking of which, tomorrow is Wednesday, October 8th. I can't believe we're cruising through the month of October. Have you picked out your Halloween costume yet? Let's talk about some important stuff. You don't want to have to be, an old Obama. You don't want to have to be Obama, right, for Halloween, right? Come on. Make sure you schedule that. It's going to creep right up on you guys. One of my favorite times of the year. I love Halloween. Love Halloween. And, of course, after Halloween, then we got daylight. Oh, boy, I know. Stop it, Joe. Stop it. Okay, what's for tomorrow? Well, we do not have to wait too long here. I've got some news out of China here tonight, 9:45. Did I mention that the global economy is slowing down? Did I tell you about? Yeah. China, yeah, they're right there with them, right? So the Chinese economy, it's not looking good. We're going to hear more about their Purchasing Managers Index. Remember, one of the bad side effects of having a sluggish economy is that the prices go lower. Now, going lower is good for a consumer, but it's not good for a business. And those businesses are the ones that employ those consumers, right? I know in the U.S., the government employs consumers, but the majority of the world, right, it's actually businesses that employ consumers. So lower prices is a really bad thing for China, really bad thing for the ECB right now, right? That's what Draghi's really being threatened with, is that deflation, right? That stagflation, where we're getting the economy slowing down, growth is not moving, and even worse, prices are coming way down, which means now a business can't make any money because they can't sell their stuff for anything. right? They want a little bit of inflation, but not too much, right? It's that balancing act, right? Janet Yellen's got her hands full with that. So we got news tonight, 9:45 out of China. Let's dig in here closer, though, and take a look at tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning here in the U.S., I've got a bunch of important news, right? We're going to hear from Great Britain at 3 a.m., and then we've got our good friends to the north, right? Our good friends in Canada, they're going to give us their housing starts. Remember, what market is highly correlated to Canadian dollar news? Anybody? Who's been watching those tutorials in the beginner's course? If you're a member of mine and you went through the section called The Markets We Trade in our beginner's course, you learn all about which news events will move which markets. What do we know about Canada? We know they're one of the world's largest exporters of what? Crude oil. So we know that whenever we hear from news out of the CAD, guess what? Be ready for crude to react accordingly. Now, tomorrow, we may not get much of a reaction out of crude because you can see at 10:30 we have inventories. Then we skip on down to 2 p.m. for the only red star news of the session tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, which is the 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes. Now, we know that these FOMC meeting minutes are probably going to tell us a lot of what we already know, right? All the different Fed governors, they've been bickering back and forth, many of them on national television here in the U.S., about do we raise rates? What's our inflation target? What is this jobs problem we keep having? Why does Janet Yellen like the JOLTS report so much? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're probably not going to get any surprises from tomorrow afternoon's news. But that does not stop all the traders from sitting on hands and waiting patiently for it. Bottom line is this. We've got news overnight. Be ready in Asia. Be ready in London. Big news out of London tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. You better be ready for that tomorrow if you're trading London. I wish I was in London. Trust me, if it wasn't for all the darn rain, right? I'm spoiled here in Los Angeles. We really are. If it wasn't for all the darn rain out there in London, I'd be there too. Great time zone to be a trader in Europe. And of course, I hear prices are coming down there. Yeah, right. Some of the most expensive real estate in the world there, downtown London. Anyways, we've got the crude oil petroleum status report at 10:30 tomorrow. Think about that for a second. Give it a think. What do we know about Wednesdays? We know that Wednesdays are public enemy number one for crude oil traders. Be careful tomorrow on crude. Be careful tomorrow on crude. After that news event comes out, at about 10:40 a.m. tomorrow morning, we'll probably end up getting the best price action of the session tomorrow after 10:30's news comes out. Let the dust settle and then find the trend after 10:30 and then follow that trend. The most important thing I can tell you about tomorrow's inventory report on crude oil. The inventory report itself, in my humble opinion, has absolutely nothing to do with what this price does. So don't even worry about what the report says. We'll look at it, but it's not going to do anything to tell me what to do tomorrow. It never has, it never will. The only thing that is important about crude oil prices is what? It has nothing to do with reality. It's all perception, okay? So as of right now, we're bearish on crude. We'll see if we continue to be bearish tomorrow after that news report. One more thing. Usually, the knee-jerk reaction, the immediate reaction to inventories is wrong. You can go back and look at last week's report last Wednesday, the Wednesday before that, the Wednesday before that. It's usually very, very consistent. So you'll see it go higher, right, after the news report comes out, and then just you wait, 15, 20 minutes later, it's coming and collapsing again. So be careful before the inventory report comes out tomorrow. Be careful after the inventory report comes out, but wait until the dust settles and then find the trend and trade it. And then one last thing here, boys and girls, before I let you guys go, expect an early lunch session tomorrow because you've got 2 p.m. Eastern Time news. Write this down. Whenever we have 2 o'clock news, and there's quite a bit of it, right? You get the FOMC announcement at 2 o'clock 8 times a year. The minutes, they follow 2 weeks later. What else do you have at 2 o'clock? Right? You get the beige book at 2 o'clock. There's all kinds of stuff that happens at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. When that news comes out at 2 p.m., We know traders are going to go to lunch early, which means the price action is going to slow down early. So when the 11:30 a.m. Eastern time closing bell rings in Europe, you got to go grab your $5 footlong from Subway and hurry up and get back here so you can be ready for 2 o'clock's FOMC meeting minutes. All right, guys? We do have some major news tomorrow night, right? The Aussie labor force survey. That'll be very interesting to see how their consumer confidence number is pretty much what it is, right? Be very interesting to see what that comes out as, because remember, if you're in Australia, right, Australia is the supplier of all of the natural resources, all the goods for China. So as that manufacturing sector is getting slower in China, right, it'll be very interesting to see what comes out of Australia, because those are the people who are out in the middle of the field, out in the desert, digging in the holes, right, to give the Chinese all the stuff they're going to manufacture, right, all the raw materials. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that in tomorrow night's newsletter. All right, guys? Got a big day in front of us. Got a big week in front of us. Real busy week in London session, right? And that European session's a really, really busy week. A little bit quiet in the U.S., but as you can see, though, hasn't mattered at all. Hasn't mattered at all. All right, guys? Wrapping up here. Don't forget, download my charts for tomorrow. Grab your free pass for our trade room. Join our nightly newsletter. And let me thank you once again for spending your most valuable commodity, your TIME. Thanks for spending your time with me tonight. Don't forget, join our free trial. I've got someone standing by here on the website at SchoolOfTrade.com. I got someone standing by. Well, they're actually locked in a cage. I'm kidding with you. But they are standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to give you guys any help about our 3 levels of membership. Guys, we are the fastest growing, longest running trading education website. I was one of the only people on the planet who had their own trade room 10 years ago. This is where it all began. I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Live trade room opens up at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Don't be a stranger. We'll see you guys then. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.